Gamers, we're back with another video, and this time I'm going to be showing you a guide how to play Sengoku Daimyo, variant civilization of the Japanese. Yesterday I was cooking with some games and I have the very first simple build order for you guys that you can follow. Now, is this the absolute best way to play 3 months from now? Probably not, but I will make another guide to update you guys on that. That being said, I played this build order. I try to get optimized and all that, and I played a couple of games versus Sassy, so I'm going to show you real games as well, but first I'm going to show you the build order and kind of walk you through it. If you want to know a lot more information about Sengoku Daimyo, check the video, everything you need to know, because it explains all their new mechanics and all the stuff they have. So, that being said, the moment the game starts, you're going to make a villager, send a scout, and you will send all the villagers on wood. There's a couple of different ways you can play with Matsuri. One option is to chop 2 straggler trees and then build Matsuri on the gold. I personally like this one, where you build Matsuri preferably if your wood line is in the back of your base. If it's in the front, it is what it is, but you build it on the wood line like this, so there's some place for farms, with 1 villager, and then you put 5 to chop the wood. The reason we want to do this is we want to make the new economic units that they have called Yatai. So we're going to do that straight away. Now, with Sengoku, you will be able to see all the deer and all the boar on the map. That's one of their civ bonuses. So there's 2 ways you can play this. I like to instantly rally villagers to the first deer pack, but you can also rally them to the sheep, so that's okay as well. The reason I like rallying them to the deer is because Sengoku Daimyo has survival techniques researched as a civilization bonus as well, so sending immediately villagers on deer seems pretty good. One thing you need to be careful about is against civilization that can open spearmen in Dark Age, because they might go after your villagers or after your Yatai. So my advice is, if you feel comfortable, go immediately on deer, like you see me do here. If you're not comfortable with deer, just go on the sheep and try to, just be a little bit safer with that. But you can always scout your opponent to make sure you see if they're spear rushing or not. You always want to put the sheep on the side of the berries for Yatai later on. And as our scout is scouting, and as our villagers are gathering wood so we can build Yatai, we're gonna go and get the house on the deer, and we're gonna start collecting there immediately. Try to kill 1 or 2 deer like I just did, and then just build a house with 1 villager and collect food with the other. The timing is a little bit tight, but it's okay if you have villager not building for a second or 2, okay? So, as these guys are chopping trees, you're gonna see 130, and we can build our first Yatai straight away. So, my advice is, Yatai caps out at 60 food per minute. So sending it to the boar gives you immediate cap of 60, so you don't have to worry about it. Because sending Yatai on the deer pack will not cap you on the food up to 60. It will be like 47, 48. I can't remember the exact amount. So just sending it on boar will immediately get you to that maximum. And then second Yatai, you have 2 options. If you have like a deer pack and then berry patch here too, for example, which I could have sent my second Yatai here, right? But I didn't see the berries. So if you have a deer plus bears next to each other, you would send second Yatai there. If you don't know where if you have that kind of spawn or not, just send it right here, because berries plus sheep will give you plenty of food as well. So after that, we're going to be chopping more wood, because we need to build a house as well, and we're going to get the Tavara upgrade. That is going to start. You can start it as soon as the house finishes, by the way. You don't need to wait for Yatai, or you can start it after first Yatai. It's up to you. So we're going to keep chopping wood for that second Yatai, and after that we're going to get gold, and we're going to start moving towards the age up. So I'm going to speed up a little bit. There's the second Yatai coming out. And it is very important to keep these things working by being next to the food, so that you can upgrade your Matsuri to level 6, which gives you 30% increased gather rate, which is very, very strong. So, right here, we're going to force drop off, and we're going to send, I'm going to show you the worker count here. We're going to send 8 total on the deer, or they would be on the sheep. And then we're going to rally onto the gold until we have enough for the age up, because we need quite a bit of gold right here. Now, there's a few different ways to optimize this build, but I feel like this was the simplest way to learn and understand, like, put this many workers here, put that many workers there, put them on gold, and then age up. So we're not going to make it too complicated. Now, one of the Yatai is on the boar here, so it's getting 60 food per minute. This one is getting 56, so that is pretty good. And once we have 6 on gold, 8 on food, we're gonna rally onto the wood so that we can build production buildings after that. Now, there's 2 landmarks in feudal age. There's Kaka Township and Ryokan. Now, my advice is, okay, this is from me playing the game for a couple of days and me playing Sengoku for not too long. I think Ryokan is an easier landmark to use. It is not an amazing landmark, but it's not a bad landmark either. I think that Kaka Township will be the one that's used more in the future, but if you're just starting with Sengoku, do not make this complicated, because Kaka Township has 2 abilities that you have to use. So I would advise you to start playing with this one, and when you get more comfortable with the civilization, then switch to Kaka Township, okay? So Ryokan, we're gonna build right here, assuming there's no enemy spearmen or anything like that coming. So what this landmark does, it increases your population by 60, so you're not gonna need to build houses, and nearby units get permanent healing buff. That's right, permanent healing 3 every 5 seconds when out of combat. So once you start aging up, you're gonna age up with the 4 guys on deer, and you're gonna send them back on the deer. You're going to leave 2 on gold, and you're going to move all the other gold ones you had onto the wood and rally onto the wood. Now, Sengoku has crazy good food income, even though I only have 4 workers on food. Yatai is giving me 60 food per minute, and this one 56. So it's basically like I have 7 villagers right now on food, not 4. So you're going to need a lot of workers on wood, because you need to build your production buildings. Now, the way Ryokan works is, as long as a unit passes here in this circle right here, that unit will receive a permanent buff that will heal your units when they're out of combat, okay? So what I like to do is to make everything a lot more simpler. Just build production buildings around Ryokan. So whether you put the Ryokan here or here, you can just build your production buildings around it. And that way, the moment unit comes out, it will immediately get that buff. So you don't need to be like, you know, if you make production buildings here and Ryokan there, you might not go in the range of the buff, so you might miss out on it. So this is like a safe way to make sure you always get the buff. Now, I played this game against AI just to show you the build, but I played it like I'm playing against a Knight Civ or Civ that opens Horsemen. So, basically what I'm going to be doing is opening barracks immediately and making some spearmen and immediately queuing up a stable as well. So again, I'm playing like playing against a Civ that has knights. If I was playing against, let's say, English and they're going spearman longbow, I would probably open with stable and an archer range. So depending what you're facing, you immediately want to build those production buildings if the enemy is being aggressive. Or if they're not being aggressive, you can just go for a lot of units and try to push and end the game. Now, this is the worker split right now that we're dealing with. So we have 10 on wood, 1 is building the lumber camp. We're gonna put 3 on stone because we want to get Hojo clan Daimyo estate, or whichever clan you are going for. Now, I've experimented with this in a few games. So basically, if you go for 3 Hojo clans or Oda clans or Takeda clans, you get deflective shield, but they become very, very expensive. So I would not suggest to build level 3 in feudal age. My advice is to just go for level 1 of whichever one you're going to make the most units out of. So for example, assuming you're playing against a knight civilization, you would go for barracks clan, which is the Hojo clan. If you're playing against maybe English, I would probably go for the archer clan so that your Yumi get +1 damage. But going further than that, the first one is 150 wood, 150 stone. The second one is 300, 300. And then the third one is 600, 600. resources, which is quite a lot to make it feudal. So again, my advice is go for one Hojo clan daimyo estate if you're going for spearmen, and then maybe add a Takeda clan for stables. And then later on, you can get the level 3, preferably like in early to mid castle, so you can get the deflective shield. The deflective shield is really good, but it's just too expensive to get. So right now, you can see we're going to be producing our Yari cavalry, we're going to be producing spearmen, and we're getting double broadaxe, so you do want to get some upgrades with this gold that you're gathering. I'm doing some quick, easy walls right here. You can also get Takezaiku, which is the level 2 wheelbarrow, basically, for Japanese. It's also just a very good upgrade if your villagers are running around or just overall economically. And now we're just pumping out units. And the moment I have enough stone, I'm going to throw down a Hojo clan daimyo estate to buff up the spearmen and unlock the spearmen upgrade. Now, one thing to note is, even though this is a daimyo estate for the barracks, you can still put stables or archer ranges around it. You don't need to only put barracks, okay? So that's one very, very important thing to note. After I got 150 stone, I'm just going to move away and get some more food. So I basically leave about 10 to 12 on wood, and then we just full rally onto food because we're going to be producing a lot of units. Now, once you go for this, you unlock the lightweight blades upgrade, and you get 5% HP on your infantry. If you do have resources for this and eventually you get it, this makes spearmen 10% faster, so like HRE spearmen, and they do a lot more damage against workers, so it's easier to kill off workers with spears. Now, in this specific game, I went for a lot of units. You also need to remember to always add Daimyo. Daimyo is the unit that you build from the Daimyo estate, and it's basically their version of Bannerman, but it's more like Mekter from Ottoman because it gives attack speed to all your units. So Daimyo, aka Bannerman if you want to call it that, gives attack speed to all your units. So you don't need to build one of these Daimyo, one for horses, one for archers, one for spearmen. One gives a buff to all of them. Now, from here on out, you have a couple of options. If you're going for this melee comp, I would definitely advise you to get attack upgrades for your melee units. And from here on out, you have two options, right? Depending how the game is going, you can either keep making units and attack and deny their food, get military upgrades and kind of go for it. Or option number 2 would be to slowly start adding workers on gold and go for the age up. So that's what I did in this game. And yeah, now you can see every unit that comes out, the moment they come out, they immediately receive this buff, which is the Ryokan healing. Another thing I want to mention right here is slowly, as you have more and more wood, you can either add more production like this, or you can start using wood to build a outpost plus a farmhouse on deer or boar and or berries and so on and so forth, because you want to try and leave these sheep and these berries alive as long as possible so that your yatai keeps stacking on these sheep and the berries, right? So preferably I would have these over here and over here split up. Now, one thing to note that is very, very important to know. The boar, if Yatai is in range, the boar will not retaliate. So that means that you can just go attack the boar with 5 villagers and the boar will not attack you back. So this is only because of the Yatai. So as you can see, the boar is not fighting back, so I can quickly yoink that too. And we can just have really good income with all the deer eco, the Yatai eco, and soon we can make a tower and protect ourselves. Now, I'm going to speed up right here, because after this, I'm going to go for Fast Castle after making some units, just to show you how I transition into Castle Age. So, we're going to send some workers here too. We're going to get a tower in a second. I think I might have forgotten it. No, I made it eventually. And we're going to go for Sake Brewery. Now, I'm going to talk about the 2 landmarks. There's 2 landmarks you can go for in Castle, Temple of Equality or Sake Brewery. Now, this is basically like a like a Abbey of Trinity for Rus. It basically allows you to make monks out of it immediately. It has some Iko-Iki, which are their monks' unique upgrades, and reduces the cost of the monks by 25%. It seems okay, but I personally don't think it's amazing. I think Sake Brewery is a lot better, okay? And I think it just gives you a lot of passive gold income throughout the game, although you do need to put workers in order to mine the gold. So what Sake Brewery does is it basically is going to drop 5 farms that you get gold from. Now, what's important to note is the economic upgrades, such as Specialized Pick and Matsuri buff, this one, will also buff the gathering on your Sake Brewery. So I think it goes from like 350 gold per minute. With all the upgrades, it goes up to like 500 and something gold per minute. But you need 5 villagers to work it, which would give every villager about 100, 110 gold per minute, which is really good value. And obviously this lasts whole game. So yeah, have that in mind. So I think this one is right now better, and it's also easier to use. So if you get Sake Brewery up, you're actually not going to need too many villagers on gold once it's built, because the gold income from it is really, really good. Okay, so if you have Matsuri, make sure that the villagers are in this line, not the building. Okay, because it doesn't buff the building, it buffs the villagers. So have that in mind. So as I'm aging up, I'm still making some units. You can already start transitioning to Samurai. And these guys, Kanabo Samurai, are pretty good against any units that have high maximum HP. Obviously, they counter OTD pretty hard. They counter elephants pretty hard. So any units that has really high amount of HP, they're good to make. But if you want armored units, you can go for Samurai and Mounted Samurai. Okay? Now, there's the mats right here, and now you can put 5 villagers, and they're gonna be cranky. Look at that gold. It's so fast. So what do you do when you age up? Well, you want to get some military upgrades. You want to start mining stone again, because like I said, we're slowly going to start going for level 2 and level 3 Daimyo state. You can get the Buddhist temple to start picking up relics. You can get more eco upgrades if you wanted to, and as you can see, I'm going to leave 4 or 5 villagers over here on gold, and then we have 5 right here. Now, depending how hard you go on the gold spending, so if you want to produce pure Mounted Samurai, you might need a couple of more in gold, but you should be good like this. Now, compared to Japanese, when you age up to castle, you're going to need a lot more workers on wood, because you are mining stone, so you can get more daimyo estates, which cost a lot of food, a lot of wood and a lot of stone, and you're still getting a lot of passive food from the Yatai. So have that in mind, which is really nice, and your Matsuri is getting buffed. Now, you kind of want to make sure you are gathering all the food on the map, on your side of the map, and as you're on the last or maybe last 2 food sources, what you want to do is upgrade Yatai Farm Gather, so that Yatai, once the resources are depleted, they can start gathering the food from farms. So once you start transitioning to farms around this Matsuri, you put Yatai here, you put maybe Yatai here, Yatai there, so then they kind of, this one covers the farms here, this one covers the farms here, this one covers the farms here, and you get a lot of not only passive food income from Yatai, but at the same time, you will also be still buffing Matsuri to get it to 30%, and then you can also make another Matsuri, for example here, or if you want to be super spicy, you can build second Matsuri on the big gold, and then you have this button which basically, while active, the whole Matsuri of all Yatai is set to this building. So once this one gets to 30%, you would select the second Matsuri here, and you would press this, which is redirect Yatai, so it goes over there. After this, like I said, it's very dependent what kind of matchup you're playing, what civ you're playing against, so to know which units you're going to make. Like I said, if I was playing against English, I would probably be going Mounted Samurai plus Yumi archers right now. If I was playing against French, you could just continue with mass cavalry, mass infantry units. It's completely up to you if you want to go for level 3 Hojo Clan Daimyo state, which is for the melee infantry units, in order to get these upgrades, or maybe you prefer mass samurai strategies, mounted samurai strategies, so you can go for the Takeda Clan level 3 in order to get mounted samurai, their deflective armor. So that is completely up to you. And after this, you can see I'm slowly adding the Hojo Clan Daimyo states because I went for a full spearman or melee infantry type comp. Mounted samurais are coming up, and again, all the units are having the Ryokan healing, which is really cool. And now with all the extra wood, we're going to be making the other daimyo states, and we're going to be making farms in order to make sure we have enough food. So there we go. I think that's pretty much it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a real game, aka game I played against Sassy. So I'm going to show you how all this looks like in a real game. One question I got very often on my stream as I was playing this: what's going to happen if you're playing against Mongol, for example, or Ottoman, and they do barracks opening and they harass your Yatai or they harass your deer packs? My advice is very simple. If you're playing against Mongol or Ottoman and you're worried they're going to be aggressive and attack your villagers on deer, just take the moment you start the game, scout, and go immediately to their base to see if they're opening with barracks. And if whatever league you're playing in, if the opponents open barracks pretty frequently, then I would suggest you to not do this, to go on deer, just stay on the sheep. And instead of making one Yatai, if you see the barracks opening and they're making spearmen, instead of making 2 Yatai, just make 1 and just go for an age up in order to get either samurai or archers to push them back. So you kind of need to adjust a little bit, just like if you played against any tower rushes, any civ, right? You have to adjust a little bit. But I'm going to speed this part through because I showed you the build order. Now what I want to show you is a real game of what this looks like. So here Sassy played Golden Horde, which can print out a lot of units apparently very quickly. So he starts the age up first, but because it is like Abbasid / Ayyubid, it's going to take a little bit to get there. And here's the Ryokan age up, and we're going to speed it up again. So I have 1 Yatai here, which is the spawn I was talking about. It's deer plus berries. And on this side, we have 1 Yatai on the boar. So if I wanted, I could go for 3rd Yatai right here, if I wanted to be a little greedy snake. But in my opinion, you don't need to, because if you open double Yatai, you are already ahead compared to your opponent. So there's the barracks. I'm making spearmen immediately because the Batu Khan is coming and the Torgut are coming as well very soon. So I'm just going for double barracks, and then I think I go into stables right after. So what I'm doing right now, trying to get some stone. I'm going to put the villager count so you guys can see. And once again, we're just trying to defend. And this is the same style I showed you in the build order guide, where I'm playing against the Knight Civ technically, because they're opening with Khan and Torguds, which are not knights, but they're not horsemen either. They're kind of in between. So he's just harassing, I'm defending, and wherever he's going with his units, I'm trying to follow, and I'm just cranking out a lot of spearmen. Now we're going to start horsemen, or the Yari cavalry. And I think I lost a villager there, which was pretty bad. And now we're going to go for stables, double stable, double archer range, because I saw that he is going for archers. So he's going to harass here. Now, if your Yatai gets found, just try to either defend it or escort it back home so it can gather here. And the boar one, as you can see, I escorted back home, so it's going to stay here and give me the income, while this one I decided to defend. So, building positioning is very important, so have that in mind. As you will see in a moment, I'm going to build... I don't know if I built it here or here. Oh yeah, this was before... Okay, so this was before I knew that every daimyo state, no matter which one you go to, gives you military production bonus 20%. I thought you needed to build it like cavalry one here, barracks one here, but I should have built this one in the middle and it would buff all 4 buildings. So have that in mind. You kind of want to use it like Ottoman blacksmith, okay? So, he's trying to do some harassment. I'm getting my upgrades. My economy feels pretty good the way it's set up. As you can see, I'm getting more upgrades than he is. And just getting a lot more units. Just pumping, and I'm trying to harass with these Yatai cavalry as well a little bit. Trying to wall up this side of the map so I can secure not only Yatai here, but these food sources. And because Golden Horde tends to play pretty aggro, or at least Sassy did, I'm kind of playing a little bit more of a defensive approach. I'm getting the Spearman upgrade now. Makes the Spearman faster and do more damage against workers, which is a very nice upgrade. Now, see, this is the thing. So he's not being aggressive right now, okay? So instead of me just keeping producing Spearmen and Yatai Cavalry, what I decided is to just start producing Samurais. Hardened Naginata Samurai. Because I saw that he has a barracks and he's transitioning to Spearmen. So if he has this unit comp and I'm going only Spearmen and Yatai, I will probably lose. So I'm mixing in the Samurai in order to counter his like Spearman Archer, Keshik, Torgud, Khan comp. Okay? So once you have decent economy set up like this, where you have a lot of villagers on food, you have a lot of villagers on gold, you can just start producing samurais even in feudal age. So, I'm going to try to harass again, and now I built the Takeda Clan Daimyo State, which I'm getting the upgrade, which increases cavalry move speed by 10%, which puts these guys at maximum speed in the game, which is 2.00. So even if it says higher than 2, the maximum speed in AOE4 is 2. Okay? So, yeah. When thinks Coke is the better landmark? Yes, that is what I said at the start of this video. It is better. But this one is easier to use. And this is kind of like a beginner guide to get people into the Sengoku civilization. So, right now we're doing some harassment over here. At the same time, I'm just like spamming units like crazy, spamming samurais like crazy, and slowly but surely my unit composition is getting better because I'm going for the armored units. He does a little dive here, but he's not really denying too much, right? And now this is where the Yatai cavalry harassment starts. And what's really nice about Sengoku Daimyo is because I have the ryokan, any damage I take, unless my cavalry dies, they're gonna heal up pretty quickly. So I'm just diving in here, taking 3 workers out, and because I see his TC's garrison, I'm just gonna run through and kill even more. Look at that idle time. That is crazy amounts of idle time. Basically all these workers and the workers in TC, and now these guys as well. So his full eco is idle. We lose a couple of Yatai, but killing 8 workers was definitely worth it. And now he's pushing me at the same time. So as long as I don't take any villager losses, I will be in a great spot. So I'm just delaying the push as much as possible, and I see him going in here, so I try to get a surround and push him out. And if you look now, I have 25 samurai. And I have Daimyo for the attack speed buff right here. So this right now becomes like impossible for him to fight because I just have way stronger army composition, some more harassment in the back. And as you can see, he gets pushed back, and I use this opportunity to age up. So similar like the last game, it's the same idea. You're making units until you have a good engagement, and after the good engagement, you can go for the age up. So, we're getting specialized mining pick. I'm gonna age up in a second. We're doing another Yatai cavalry raid here. I'm just buying some time for myself, and we go for Sake Brewery again. Right here. So all I want right now is to preferably delay his push as long as possible, get my upgrades, and then go through the middle of the map and push. So, you can see his whole army is here. I know I've killed a lot of villagers already. I could have gotten this, but I think I'm just saving gold for the upgrades because I already have some farms going as well. And now he goes for engagement. I commit, even though I don't have my upgrades. If I go back, he's going to stop me from gold. So I just decide to go for it and defend. And veteran upgrade for the samurai is very, very fast. So he's trying to fight here and to snipe the spearman. And he's doing a good job. But now samurai are going to be the castle samurai, which are a lot better. And once again, as we age up in a second... Oh, never mind. He just taps out. But as I age up, right now would go for another monastery to get the relics with the Iko-Iki, and then I would go for stone to get more daimyos. And again, whether you go for the 3 melee ones or 3 cavalry ones or 3 archer ones, those are completely up to you, depending on your unit comp, depending on the civ you're playing against, and so on and so forth. And that's pretty much it. That is in my opinion, a pretty straightforward, simple build order with Sengoku Daimyo. Now, I'm sure there's, like I said, even to this simple one, there's a lot more optimization, like put one villager here than one there. But I didn't want to make it too complicated because I think what's most important for you guys is to get in the game, just learn the civilization, get comfortable with units, understand what the units are doing, how the economy feels and all that. And before you know it, I will have another build order guide for the Kaka Township and give you guys more details about that. And maybe there's even more optimized build as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, I want to thank you so much for watching. And if you're watching live, let's keep going.